part 28 of sharing my story on here because it's so much easier than writing another book. And right before I go public with my story, with the support of Reed, my now ex-husband, and my mom, we had contacted my church, our church, Good Shepherd Community Church in Boring, Oregon, because I'm not hiding names. And we were well connected in the church because we not only had been attending groups, were also leading groups within the church. And like everybody knew us. Our kids were all in the childcare, like for Sunday service, not the normal childcare, because I was a stay-at-home mom, like fully fulfilling a patriarchal dream. But that we messaged, I emailed the head pastor who knew us, had done counseling with us, and I didn't get a response. And so then the email really was just saying, hey, I'm going public with being a trafficking survivor. We don't want money. I just would love like prayer support and support of our church, our home church. And he never responded. So I sent the email to everyone in the directory, all of the leadership team. I'm like, someone's going to respond. And no one responded. So I end up calling the assistant, and she knows who I am, and we're talking on the phone, and she's like, I don't know why anyone hasn't responded. I'll get back to you. She never gets back to me. It comes around time for the interview, and the three of us are just like, we don't understand what's happening. They're just literally, the church is ghosting us. No one will talk to us. No one will acknowledge us. Like, it's just nothingness, crickets. So I go public with my story, and it's like this immediate, so many phone calls, so many emails. Everybody's wanting interviews, wanting information. Like this was late 2009. There were so few survivors that were talking about trafficking and were sharing their stories. Like there was a handful of us in the entire country that were sharing publicly. And so survivors just got devoured by the media because it was the beginning of the movement. So all of a sudden, Mom and I are doing tons of meetings, and I'm dragging her around with me. I'm like, what have we gotten into? What have I gotten into? Like, I'm the face of this, and we're still running the couponing company. And we had been very active in the Chamber of Commerce that's in Gresham, Oregon. And it's a really awesome chamber. Like, if you're up there, I'm sure the people are still really cool, because there'd be like 120 of us every single Friday morning for networking. And it was just a really strong community that was really amazing. And so we're active in the chamber and had been for about a year. So when I go public, everybody already knows me because I'm active in the community and doing couponing and coupon for a cause. And they're just fully embrace us. But at the same time, it's like, whoa, this is a lot. Like, how could this be? Because I was so professional and a businesswoman and then also a trafficking survivor. It was like beyond comprehension. And for most people, it wasn't for us because we had been so used to just being raw and real and conscious and aware and feeling through everything with our bodies. Oh, I keep having to look at my notes. So the chamber breaks for Christmas, and we are just like taking a time out. Like it had been a wild month and a half of really just kind of putting everything together. Mom and I decide we're going to paint the living room, and like life is just really starting to flow in all these awesome ways. And one morning I wake up and Mom's sitting at the kitchen table eating her oatmeal, and she just so nonchalantly says, oh, I think I had a heart attack last night, but I didn't want to wake you up. We should probably go to the hospital. And I'm like, what? My mom's like 52, 53, and totally healthy. There's nothing. She's not on any meds. She had just had a full physical, like right before she moved in with us 14 months prior. And I'm like, okay, we're going to the hospital, Mom, come on. We go to the hospital and they do some basic tests, and they're like, there is something major wrong. We're going to admit her, and this is not okay. And it took us a few days of them being really freaked out for them to come back with the beginning of a diagnosis of leukemia. And it was so much back and forth of trying to figure out what type of leukemia and all these spinal taps, and she was just not well. And at the time, she had broken one of her teeth. She had a root canal that was about 30 years old, and half that tooth had broken off a few weeks prior, and it had the mercury fillings in them, the mercury amalgam, I don't know, the metal fillings. And she just didn't really do anything about it. She wasn't sure what was going on, but we didn't have quite enough money to just go do a full extraction, and she didn't want that. She wanted all these other things because nobody wants to lose a tooth. And so I started doing research because I was like, there's something going on. And I figured out, I was so proud of myself because I figured out how to change my IP address, which I know is so not a big deal now because it's 2025, but in late 2009, it was a big deal to be able to change your IP address. So I start doing all this research in Europe specifically because I'm discovering that different cancers are connected to your teeth. And we get to this point where they do this one spinal tap, this test, and we get a full diagnosis. And she has acute myelogenous leukemia of the subtype of 6, which is specifically for people who have worked in nuclear power plants. My mom was like a hippie through and through. She scrubbed our house with like vinegar and baking soda, like lemon juice. Like she was so crunchy that like she'd never been near a nuclear power plant. And I'm like, there's something going on and the tooth is connected. So I discover with this different IP address that dental work can actually cause gangrene in your jaw, which can give this specific type of leukemia. And my mom is adamant about not doing any kind of chemotherapy or any treatment. And I'm like, okay, like, we'll figure this out. And I'm smuggling food into the hospital because hospital food sucks and it's definitely not for when you're sick. So I'm like literally smuggling food in for her that is healthy, and she's on this anti-inflammatory diet, like all these different anti-cancer diets. And she's doing research, I'm doing research, and I'm smuggling this food in, and she's like, just take me home. I want to go home. And so I pull her out of the hospital against all their wishes, and she comes home, and we end up, like, it's much better, but we end up having to go back to the doctor this one day. And they tell us that she has like 30 days left to live. And I lose my shit. And like, that is so quick and it's so painful, and she's so healthy, but yet really not. Like, she's starting to lose weight. And she's just like, it's time. It's time, Jess. And that last time that I took her to the doctor, I had taken her to a biological dentist, and sitting at the biological dentist, he'd had these x-rays, and he's like, I don't know how you found this. And he called the oncologist and her general practitioner, and the three of them are on speakerphone, or we're in the dentist office, and we're all talking, and they're like, there's nothing we can do. Her body is 95% leukemic. There is just nothing left to do. And I looked at my mom and I'm like, what do you want to do? And she says, I want a bacon blue cheeseburger and to go to Multnomah Falls one more time. And that's what we did. And we took her home for the last time.